All right, we're going to get started with what's your name, how old are you, and where are you from?
My name's Mallory. I'm 36 and I'm from New Hampshire.
Perfect. And how did you become an Elvis fan?
So I knew of him, obviously, but it stemmed from my grandparents, mainly my grandfather. Um, he was big into it, and just the love of his music brought me more close to him as a relationship.
Mhm.
So we went to a few local Elvis festivals together, which was really fun. We did All Shook Up musical. And a cool story actually with him is he was a truck driver and he was going to the Cumberland County Civic Center. I think it was called that back then. And he actually had the wardrobe of Elvis in the back of the truck.
Oh,
He ended up having to turn around because he had passed and Elvis was going to be performing the 17th and the 18th that night.
oh wow.
Yeah.
So wait,
I
how
don't
did
know
you
the
get
full
into
story of that, but like that's all I know is like he had his wardrobe in the back of the truck and he had to turn around.
and like bring it back?
I know.
I wonder how they made that mistake. I'm like,
I have no idea,
wrong truck.
but it was crazy when he told me that. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So your dad was a big fan. Was he, I'm assuming, or your dad, your grandfather, he was a big fan, that sounds like. So that must have been a big moment for him too, is to like all of a sudden have this cargo in the back of
Yeah,
his truck. I'm
definitely.
sure he talked about that forever.
Yeah. I mean, he never got to see him in concert, but he remembers seeing him,
Yeah.
on TV and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. So you spent a lot of time with your grandfather, like getting to know Elvis. So you really got to know him as a kid, it sounds like. So is that something that was a popular thing, being a kid Elvis fan?
yeah, so I was about like I think I was 14, so
Okay.
start of high school. So
Perfect
obviously it wasn't
timing.
very yeah, wasn't very cool to be, into that stuff. More it was like, I don't know, boy bands and all of that stuff, which I love still, but Elvis was my guy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was just like an outcast thing, which I still had friends that would, make fun of me and stuff like that, but they were just joking around. So it was
Yeah.
like whatever, I didn't care.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I hear from a lot of people that like start in like middle school or high school or even when they were little, they were like, but it didn't matter. Like I still loved Elvis. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna like
embraced it. I
hate.
didn't care.
Yeah, exactly. So have you had a chance to visit Graceland? And did you get a chance to
Yes.
go with your grandfather is the big question.
No, no, we didn't get to go with him. My parents took me in 2011. So June 15th, 2011, we went to Graceland. It was amazing.
Yeah, what's that experience like? Like finally getting to go into his home and see where he lived and like stand where he stood. Like what was that experience like?
It was just everything was so emotional, obviously, and you could feel his presence. I know it's hard to explain to people, but if you're not in the Elvis world, you just don't really get that.
Yeah, no, they don't quite get it.
Yeah, I just loved the house and just the decorations and everything, the jungle room. I love the dining room. Just, imagine sitting at that table, the conversations they would have had that at that table. And the meditation garden was very emotional, hysterically crying.
Yeah, yeah, that still happens today. So,
Yeah,
growing up, so being like 14, I know you had your like grandfather to talk Elvis with, but there weren't as many friends around to do it. But now with like social
yeah.
media, there's so many people to talk Elvis with, and there's this
Mhm.
community. So what has that been like for you?
It's been good. One of my first Elvis friends I had met actually online. And then she introduced me to this group through Facebook. And now there's a group of us where we talk all the time. And it's great because back then, obviously, we didn't have the social media like we do now. So it's great to have the community and everybody's so welcoming too.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were a fan before the Elvis movie came out.
Mhm.
So what was it like when the movie came out and like there was this new influx of fans and like just what was the experience of that movie coming out for you?
I just thought it was great that he was in the public eye again and all these new fans were coming into the world. And I know you became a fan because of the movie. So it's nice to see these younger people too come into and start a new legacy, continue the legacy.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
thought he did great with the movie. Baz did great.
Oh yeah.
So good.
When I heard those names together, when I heard Elvis and Baz Luhrmann, I remember being like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be knocked out of the
It
park."
was so good. And the ending of the movie, oh my gosh, it was so good when they put Elvis with the piano.
Yeah. Oh my
Just
gosh.
could
Yeah.
not stop.
Yeah, exactly. How would your life be different if you didn't have Elvis in it?
Um, well, obviously it's just life, but like it wouldn't be as exciting, I guess you could say. He
Mhm.
just adds this kind of spark to it. It's hard to explain to people and
Yeah.
you get it, but people think you're crazy. It's like, oh my God, you're talking about this dead guy who's been gone for so long. But like he does, he brings me joy and he just makes me happy.
Yeah, yeah. That's like the exact same answer I got from a woman who was probably 85 who was an Elvis fan, and she said she listens to him in the morning to wake up and she listens to him to soothe her to go to bed, and she just,
Same.
he just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like that's as simple as it needs to be, like
hmm
he just makes us happy. Like, do you collect Elvis memorabilia, or like what do you do that, like, whether it's collecting music or like memorabilia or just like being on, like, what does your fandom look like?
Yeah, I do collect. I have records. I try and do as many books as I can, like the older magazines.
Hmm.
Try to read up as much as I can. I have a lot of like family and friends would get me stuff like little trinkets and stuff like that or jewelry. So it's just a mix of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The books are what got me. I think I read like 100 books within the last 2.5 years or
Oh
something.
yeah,
It's just like it's like studying historical event because he can't speak for himself. So
right.
you have to get this information from all over the place. So it's
And
just
there's
like,
still so many out there that I don't even have too. So it's like you're continuing to learn, all this stuff about him too. So
yeah, I
yeah,
love it. So what do you think it is about him though? Like, because there's nobody doing this for any other artist out there. Like,
yeah,
what do you think it is about Elvis that makes people dive so deep? Because there's no such thing as a casual Elvis fan. Like, you can't just be like,
right.
oh yeah, like I listen to his music randomly. No, you are either all in or you're just at like the top, like kind of looking down.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just his energy and the type of person he was. He was so great to his fans. He loved his fans. He was a family man. He was just a humble, normal guy, if you really read up on him and people know about him.
Yeah. Exactly. I love it. I think, and he has such like a tragic story too,
I
like
know.
it's such a short amount of time. He didn't like travel outside of North America. Like
That makes me so sad.
and he like stuck with just like the people that he basically grew up with. And like, it's just all these things. And he was still like the biggest star the planet's ever seen. And like, it's hard to imagine like what would have happened if he'd had like the right songs and the right people and like all this
Right.
stuff. It's just like what could have been,
What could have been exactly.
like keeps me up at night, basically. Ugh, I get so angry, like the movie years. Ugh.
I
Um,
know.
so
Exactly the movie years.
yeah. So I don't know if I put this in my questions to you, but I'm going to put you on the spot with this. But what do you say to people who think that us being Elvis fans means that we're living in the past?
Well, I consider myself an old soul,
Mhm.
so I don't mind that, but I still believe he's relevant today, with the movie. And, they had that Christmas special at Graceland where they had, who was there, Kane Brown and Post Malone. So it's like if these fans of them are watching and they don't know songs of Elvis, it's like they're kind of bringing that into the world of that. So, I mean, there's that. And I don't know. I just still think he's relevant to this day, but that's just my opinion. I mean, just the music continues on, just the legacy is going to continue on.
So, what do you think is the most important thing that non-Elvis fans should know about Elvis?
I would say, like I said before, just how humble he was and how kind he was,
Mhm.
generous. Um, and he just liked to, hang out at home, just, ride his go-karts, do his horseback riding, um, and just how funny he was. I loved his sense of humor.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
love hearing him on, the outtakes of the songs and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, exactly. I talked to somebody who was like, I didn't realize how much he cursed, like in
Yes.
like tape outtakes and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
he cursed, and I just think
I
it's
love seeing the footage too, as much footage as I can get behind the scenes.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But just how humble he was and how kind he was. And the thing is that he didn't promote it too. Like today,
Right.
you hear everything that every person did to somebody who has $100 million and they donate like $50,000 to something. And you're like, really? That's okay.
Yeah,
But like he did it every day, all day, like, and didn't ask to get any recognition for it or anything.
exactly.
And it's just like you don't see people doing that today. And
Right. It
it's
was a goodness out of his heart, and he was just a family man, and he was raised right, He had good
Mhm.
parents.
Exactly. Exactly. So my final question for you then is what does being an Elvis fan mean to you today?
Well, I like that it brought my relationship closer to my grandparents. Um, that meant a lot. I mean, I was already close with them, so just to have that connection even more,
Hmm.
and just how he brings a lot of calmness to my life because I get anxious and stressed. So he helps in that sense of life there for sure.
Yeah. I love that. I love that he has that like everyone has that I talk to has such a personal relationship with Elvis, you know. They talk about him like being a family member and that he's just so like ingrained in their life. And for somebody who thought he was going to be forgotten, to have that kind of impact on people
Yes.
is just like I just wish he knew. I wish there was some way for him to know that
Oh,
type.
he knows for sure. I mean, Elvis week every year, his
Yeah.
birthday week, he knows, I feel like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, Mal, thank you so much for talking to me today. It's really great to be able to talk to somebody who just like has had a love for Elvis for most of her life and is continuing the legacy and, like taking the opportunity to bring people in as often as she can. So thank you so much. And I hope you get a lot of messages through this for people to follow up with you and make new friends through the Elvis community. So thank you.
Thank you. It was great speaking with you.